So Sony already has their stock PlayStation headset, but now Sony has launched their new INZONE brand, and with it they've launched a new lineup of gaming headsets that work with both your PC and PlayStation. Now today we're going to check out the Sony INZONE H9. Now these are INZONE's most premium gaming headset, and these have a lot of Sony 1000XM5's vibes going on with them. Now regarding pricing, the INZONE H9 have a retail price of $300. Now these are better suited for PC gaming, but you can still use them to game on your PlayStation. And this review is coming from the perspective of someone who's strictly a console gamer. Nonetheless, if you want to pick this headset up, it'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch shelf down below. I've made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know I can be very particular. So I'll only set my name on something that I'm really proud of. Now first, let's talk about the design of this headset. The H9 headset looks very similar to the XM5s. We've got big plastic ear cups, and thankfully this headset is using new plastic, so it doesn't feel as flimsy as the recycled plastic found on the XM5s. This headset also has plastic arms that click when you extend it, unlike the smooth gliding arms found on the XM5s. We've also got plastic on the top of the headband and underneath. This headband has a very well padded leatherette. And we've also got leatherette on the ear pads. And personally, I really like how this leatherette feels. And I think this is a huge deal because Sony is finally doing leatherette right. And to be honest, I can't help but feel that the leatherette on the H9s feel identical to the leatherette found on the XM5s. They have a very slight soft touch feel to them. But definitely, I do prefer how the H9s fit over the XM5s for a few key reasons. Now for starters, when it comes to clamping force, this headset does fit a little more snug than the XM5s, but I will still say that they are big head approved. But more importantly, the earpads on this headset are super spacious. They're a lot more spacious than the earpads found on the XM5s, specifically because they have a lot more depth to them. So these earpads are going to have no problem fitting average size ears, and they're going to have no problem if you have very large ears or ears that stick out a lot. And these earpads also do a really good job of staying cooler for longer because they don't have a lot of surface area coming in contact with your skin. But also, there's the added padding and larger surface area found on the headband of this headset. One of my main critiques about the XM5s is its very thin and minimally padded headband. For me, this headband creates a hotspot on the top of my head after wearing these headphones for like 45 minutes. Whereas hotspots on the H9s isn't an issue because they have more padding. The only thing that you need to look out for with this headset is that they are a little on the heavier side, weighing in at 325 grams. So with this headset, you never really forget that you're wearing it, like you would with the XM5s, which weigh in at 250 grams. But nonetheless, I really like how this headset fits because of its super large ear pads and very well padded headband. And this headset also rests very naturally on your head. And this is definitely one of the main reasons why I would look at this headset or at the H7s versus the stock PlayStation headset. Since the ear cups on this headset doesn't swivel like on the ear cups on the H9s, this headset doesn't rest as naturally on your head. Plus, there's also the comparatively much more cramped ear pads. So overall, I like the fit of the H9s, but my main gripe with them is that they're just so bulky. Now, the H9s look very similar to the Sony 1000XM5 headphones, except they're just bigger. And then there's their microphone. Their microphone isn't completely detachable. Now, yes, you can swivel it up, but you can't actually remove it like you can with some other headsets out there. So if you do plan on using this headset as a normal pair of headphones while out in public, you are going to stick out a bit. And then there's their build quality. Now, the H9s have decent build quality, and I do feel that this headset can take a good amount of abuse. But personally, I don't feel the H9s are as durable as, let's say, the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro. And personally, I do feel that durability is something that you do want to take into consideration if you're looking into a gaming headset, because unfortunately, things do happen. But now let's talk about tech specs. Regarding battery life, this headset has an advertised battery life of 32 hours. However, this advertised battery life of 32 hours is with the active noise cancellation on this headset turned off, and it's only while this headset is connected to its transmitter. If you were to use this headset with the active noise cancellation turned on, and while it's simultaneously connected to both your console and phone via Bluetooth, then you're going to have an advertised battery life of 16 hours. However, if you were to use this headset while it's only connected to your console and with its active noise cancellation turned on, then you're going to have an advertised battery life of 20 hours. Personally, I only use the ANC on my headphones and headsets when I have to, but I do like being connected to two devices at the same time while I game. And under these circumstances, this headset is still going to have an advertised battery life of 20 hours. So overall, I am going to have to say that the real-world battery life of the H9s is a little mid. You're going to get somewhere between 16 to 20 hours of playtime. And the fast charging on this headset is also very mid, because if you were to charge them up for 10 minutes from a dead battery, you're only going to get 1 hour of playtime. Whereas if we were to look at the SteelSeries Arctis Nova 7, if you were to charge them up for 15 minutes from a dead battery, you're going to get 6 hours of playtime. But at least you can use this headset while it's charging, and they do come included with a very long USB-A to USB-C cable, which I think is a nice touch given that this headset does not have a 3.5mm audio jack, so you can't use them passively if they were to die on you in the middle of a game. Now we're going to connectivity. This headset comes included with a USB-A transmitter, and you can use this headset with either your PlayStation or PC. The only thing that I do have to point out about this transmitter is that unfortunately it doesn't come included with any USB-C adapters, so it could be an issue depending on your setup and hardware. But connectivity-wise, it's literally just plug and play. Every time that I power this headset on, it just connects to the transmitter. Latency has never been an issue, and the connection never cuts out. And also, with this headset, it can be simultaneously connected to your phone via Bluetooth. And you can have your game's audio and your phone's audio playing at the same time. And this is another reason why you might want to go with one of Sony's new INZONE headsets over the stock PlayStation Pulse 3D headset. The Pulse 3D headset can only be connected to your PlayStation. Unfortunately, it doesn't have Bluetooth, so you can't connect it to your phone and have your phone's audio playing at the same time while you have your game audio going. However, you can plug in the Pulse 3D's transmitter into a PC, and you can always use it with your PC. But when it comes to sound, I am going to have to say that this headset sounds like your typical pair of Sony headphones, as in they're people pleasers. Now, they have a good amount of physicality in their bass, which means you're going to be able to feel those explosions, and their mids are very well defined, so you're going to be able to listen for those footsteps. However, instrument separation on this headset isn't as good as the instrument separation that you'll find on some other headsets out there. Now, they definitely get the job done, and you do get immersed in your games, but they're not as immersive as some other headsets out there. And personally, I'm not super surprised that this headset doesn't have the best instrument separation out there, because Sony's headphones in general don't have the best instrument separation. However, these do sound more open than the Pulse 3D, because the Pulse 3D does lean more towards a warmer sound signature. But definitely, one of the things that I don't like about this headset is that you can't adjust its EQ directly from your PlayStation how you can with the Pulse 3D headset. Instead, if you want to adjust the EQ on this headset, or if you want to customize it really, you're going to have to connect it to your PC, and you're going to have to download the INZONE Hub for your PC. And unfortunately, the INZONE Hub is only available for Windows users. So if you're primarily a Mac user like I am, and somebody that currently doesn't have a Windows machine, then you're not going to be able to customize the EQ or personalize this headset at all. And personally, I do find it very strange that the H9s aren't as integrated with your PlayStation as the Pulse 3D. But don't get me wrong, you can definitely still use the H9s as your PlayStation's main gaming headset, because these do sound really good with their stock EQ. You're just not going to be able to personalize them as much as you'd like unless you hook them up to your PC. But now let's talk about the extra features found on this headset, and primarily that's going to be the active noise cancellation on this headset. Now, no surprise here, the active noise cancellation on the H9s is very good. It has very little cabin pressure, and there's no hissing in the background. Now, the active noise cancellation on the H9s isn't as effective as the active noise cancellation found on the Sony 1000XM5 headphones. However, the ANC on this headset does outperform the ANC found on other gaming headsets out there. But so that you can see for yourself, we're going to jump into an ANC test. So like you may have just seen, the H9s block out a decent amount of noise. Now they're not blocking out as much noise as the Sony XM5s, and personally I'm not surprised, but they do block out noticeably more noise than the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro. Active noise cancellation wise, I would say that the H9s are between a pair of mid-tier ANC headphones and a pair of premium ANC headphones. But more importantly, the ANC on this headset will definitely help out if you're trying to game while at home and your family members are being a little noisy. But also, if you do decide to use this headset as a normal pair of headphones, then the ANC on this headset can definitely come in handy if you're on a bus or in a chatty cafeteria. But another feature that this headset has is an ambient mode, and the ambient mode on this headset sounds very natural. And personally, I'm not surprised because Sony has always had a good sounding ambient mode. The only thing is that if you want to adjust how much noise this headset lets in, you are going to have to use the INZONE hub. But regardless, I do feel that having an ambient mode on your gaming headset can come really handy. Let's say, for example, you might have a little one that you might have to keep an eye on while they play around the house or while they play in the other room. Or this way you can just be aware of your surroundings, so if your mom calls you that dinner's ready, you'll be able to hear them. But finally, here's the microphone test. Now, the microphone on this headset sounds really good. Now, it doesn't sound as clear as some other headsets out there, but nonetheless, my voice still sounds very good here, and my voice does have a very natural sounding sound signature to it. Because for comparison's sake, here's the Pulse 3D headset, which personally I feel doesn't sound as clear as with the H9. And one of the main reasons as to why this microphone doesn't sound as clear as the H9 is because there's no boom microphone directly in front of your mouth. And here are the Razer Cara Pros. Now again, this microphone doesn't sound as clear as some other headsets out there, and this microphone does lean towards a warmer sound signature. But where the H9s really shine is when it comes to blocking out noise pollution, because right now we have a low frequency sound playing in the background to simulate either having a fan or AC running in the background. And this microphone is doing a really good job of dealing with that noise pollution. Because for comparison's sake, if we were to switch over to my lapel microphone, you're going to clearly hear that low frequency sound. But if we were to switch back over to the H9's microphone, it is severely reduced. But for comparison's sake, here are the Razer Cara Pro. Now, this microphone is also doing a decent job of blocking out this noise pollution, but I do feel the H9s sound a little clearer. And with the Pulse 3D, this microphone is just letting in everything. So this is another reason why you might want to go with the H9 over the Pulse 3D. If you game in an area that has a lot of noise pollution, that noise pollution can definitely be very distracting for your teammates. So I will say the microphone on the H9s is very impressive. Now, it doesn't sound as clear as some other headsets out there, but this headset does a really good job of blocking out noise pollution, whether you're using this headset with a PlayStation or PC. So with all that being said, there's a lot to like about the INZONE H9 gaming headset. Fit-wise, this headset fits very well, and you can easily game with them for hours on end. I really like their super spacious earpads, and their headband has a really good amount of padding, which helps to make up for the heavier weight of this headset. This headset has really impressive active noise cancellation, which can be useful if you're trying to game while your family is being noisy, and this headset also has a really good sounding microphone. However, the main drawback that I do have to point out about this headset is I don't like the limited integration if you're trying to use this headset with your PlayStation. You're gonna have to use your computer to adjust the EQ on this headset. The battery life on this headset could be better, and if you do plan on using this headset as a normal pair of headphones with your phone, this headset is pretty bulky. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.